Hello friends, welcome to part 4 of the Indian national movement, and these are questions related to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and I hope you have watched the other 3 parts in this series. So this is just in continuation with part 1, 2 and 3. So let's begin. Gandhiji was given the responsibility of framing the constitution by the Congress. He was assisted by 2 other people. One was N.C. Kelkar and the other was. So basically, if we have watched the last part, the last question was like was given the responsibility of framing the constitution of the Congress, and before that there were just rules that were being followed that had been written by Gokhale. So this other person was none other than I.B. Sen. So that is the answer. In the constitution presented by Gandhiji, the goal of Congress was the attainment of Swaraj within the British Empire, if possible without it. So there was a clause where they were thinking of getting Poon Swaraj as well. At which session of the Congress was the draft of the constitution prepared by Gandhiji finally adopted? So they are asking in which session of the Congress was this draft that had been made by Gandhiji be adopted. So this was the Congress session held at Nagpur. So that is the answer, Nagpur. In April 1921, Gandhiji launched the program of. So basically in April 1921, during the non-cooperation movement, so Gandhiji had launched this program and enlisting a crore of members for the Congress. That is correct. Raising 1 crore, we all know that is also correct. Setting up 20 lakh charkhas in the country, that is also correct. So all of the above is the right option for this question. On which day in August 1920 Gandhiji gave the signal for non-cooperation movement to the Viceroy via letter surrendering his decorations and titles? So basically Gandhiji had this title of Kazre Hind, which he had got in South Africa, and he surrendered that. Of course, that was one of the preconditions of the non-cooperation movement, surrender of titles. So he did not surrender it like Rabindranath Tagore did at the time of Jallianwala Bagh. He did it at a later stage. So we are being asked on which day in August 1920 Gandhiji gave the signal as well as surrendered his decorations and titles. So it was the 1st of August when he did all this. Basically, he wrote a letter to the Viceroy at that time and surrendered his titles. The special session of Congress accepted the non-cooperation movement plan in September 1920 to secure the redressal of Punjab and Khilafat wrongs. Where was this session held? Another question related to the Congress sessions. Now these are some of them are important and some of them are not important, but these are all, I would put them in the category of important. So this particular session was held in Calcutta. Now since Congress had like most of the years they had a special session, so one needs to remember which place was what. I mean a deep study is required, so Calcutta anyways is the answer. Who was the leader who wanted the demand of Swaraj to be included in the non-cooperation movement to which Gandhiji agreed upon in 1920 in the annual session held at Nagpur? So this demand for Swaraj to be a part of non-cooperation movement was put by one of the leaders and Gandhiji said why not. So we are being asked who was this leader. So it was actually put by Motilal Nehru and C. Vijay Raghvachari, and this was both A and B, so the answer would be D. Gandhiji's proposal regarding the boycott of Legislative Council was strongly challenged by one of the leaders, who said these reforms are not a gift of the British but have been wrung out of their hands. I want to make it an instrument in the attainment of Swaraj and to later use them as to bring Purn Swaraj. So basically, when Gandhiji proposed that let's boycott the legislative councils, so one of the leaders was not very happy with this idea, and he said that it had not been an easy task to get this legislative councils, Indians into the legislative councils, and he said he would use this. So this leader, of course, was one of the guys who started the Swarajist party in 1923. So he was none other than C.R. Das along with Nehru. When did Gandhiji make this observation that the people followed his program, then Swaraj should dawn within a year? So basically Gandhiji thought that this could happen once again, just like it had happened before as well. And Gandhiji made this observation that Swaraj can be attained within a year if properly. He was pretty hopeful actually. So this was in 1920, before he started the non-cooperation movement. From which place in Gujarat did Gandhiji decide to launch the civil disobedience movement? So this would be non-cooperation movement, not civil disobedience. Anyways, so this was in Bardoli. He started this because he was in Bardoli at that time, and Vallabhbhai Patel had gone to Bardoli and started a movement there. Before the civil disobedience movement or the non-cooperation movement could be properly launched, Gandhiji suspended it because of the Chauri Chaura incident, which was in. So where was Chauri Chaura? Easy question. Foothills of Himalayas, as put by one of the leaders, Nehru, and this was in Uttar Pradesh. How many members of police force? Again, a simple question. So this was number 20 that had been burnt on 5th of February in that year. The Congress Working Committee endorsed Gandhiji's decision to suspend the movement, and its place opted to implement a constructive program on 22nd February 1922. So where was this decision taken? So guys, this was again in Bardoli because Gandhiji's favorite place, Bardoli. The suspension of civil disobedience movement came as a shock to many leaders. One of them wrote a strong letter to Gandhiji questioning his decision. Who was he? He was none other than Motilal Nehru, who said that why should one small place in the foothill of Himalayas be held responsible for the rest of the country, and why people sitting in Madras should be affected by this. Who called the dropping of the civil disobedience movement as a national calamity, or the non-cooperation movement? And this was none other than Mr. Bose, who was also an extremist leader. At which place was Gandhiji arrested for the first time by the British government for sedition in India? So when was Gandhiji for the first time arrested for sedition? Okay, this was none other than Ahmedabad. So he was arrested in Ahmedabad for enticing people into acting against the government. Who of the following leaders from the bar, of course legal, making a princely income, heralded the boycott of legal profession, on the call of Gandhiji. So basically they are asking which leader left his practice, who was earning a lot of money, working as a lawyer, and who left his practice because Gandhiji had said that had called for a boycott of courts, and this leader or leaders were Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das. So answer would be C, both A and B. For writing which of the following articles in Young India was Gandhiji convicted for the first time in the country? Tampering with loyalty, yes. Puzzle and its solution, yes. Shaking the mains, yes. All three. So this needs to be remembered: tampering with loyalty, puzzle and its solution, shaking the mains. Identify the period in which Gandhiji was not involved in any political activity as he wanted. So Gandhiji had become fried. He had understood that in India, Swaraj cannot be attained till there was Hindu-Muslim unity. So he said, I would leave the political background and work on a constructive program. So he left for a period of 1924 to 28. Of course, that is what is being asked. So the answer is 1924 to 1928. And this was after his release from prison in 1924 because he was sick. How many items were listed by Gandhiji in the constructive program? So we are being asked how many items were a part of Gandhiji's constructive program, and these were around 13 of them were there. So basically all related towards different aspects of the society, but the main objective was to raise Hindu-Muslim unity so that people could get Swaraj or dominion status. At which of the Congress session did Gandhiji declare himself defeated and humbled towards the end of 1924? So basically Gandhiji felt that the kind of time wasn't right for national movements, and he accepted defeat and felt humbled, and he wanted, basically this all happened at the Ahmedabad session of the Congress. So easy question. So guys, thank you for watching the part 4 of this series, and the questions were relatively easy in this series, but they are all related to Gandhiji, and so I hope you are enjoying this series, and please do subscribe to this channel for further tough questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll try to upload the last part of this series by tomorrow. So thank you very much.